Joe-san, and welcome to the Chaos Hong Kong podcast. You're probably wondering why I'm saying Joe-san, and it's because I'm an expat that's lived here 5 years, so I've only learned 2 words in my entire time here. I'm going to introduce our guest very soon, but just to let you know what this podcast is not. This is not an expat podcast. We will not be answering expat questions like what is a Kowloon or why does my helper have human rights. We will instead be interviewing our guests within Shi shortly, and later in the show we'll be answering your agony aunt questions through our dear leader Cassie. My name is Ash James, and I am your first host, introducing our second host.
你好，大家好，我係 Cassie. Just kidding. This is not a podcast in Chinese because otherwise Ashley wouldn't understand a word we were saying. I'm Cassie. I'm the founder of Hong Kong, Chaotic Hong Kong Expats, and we're here to talk shit about Hong Kong life, the absurdities of Hong Kong life, and yeah.
Okay, that brings us to introduce our fantastic guests for today, and I will let them introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Shi Shi, so I'm not an expat, but like I don't know why I'm here. when they invited me, but like
it's because we thought you could speak English. That's fine.
Well, maybe, but like I'm sure they have some interesting topics that they want to find out about me, and I'm actually a shibari artist. If you don't know what shibari is, it's actually Japanese bondage, which is a discipline of BDSM. So yeah, I'll just let them ask me.
Okay, let's start with our basic questions for people that aren't into the same Pornhub categories as me. What does BDSM stand for? Let's start with the broad.
So that's actually 3 types of practice. It's bondage and discipline. DS is domination and submissive, and then SM is sadist and masochist. Yeah, you can Google it.
Yeah. We're not Wikipedia here.
Don't Google it at work. Let's be very clear. You should be listening to this at work. Actually, just do some work is the main thing.
Okay, so what would you say the difference is between the umbrella term of BDSM and also, like, is shibari a subsect of that, or would you classify that as something entirely different?
Well, I would say like BDSM is a Western idea that just like concluded everything that falls within the umbrella term. And shibari or Japanese BDSM is something different. They develop differently, like parallelly from on the timeline, but like when like pop media or internet came along, and then everything got like merged together.
Yeah, I guess it's like homogenized now. Like the internet is like this great equalizer, and it sort of brings everyone up to the same sort of level.
Yeah.
As a white man, I don't like that.
You're like, where's my fucking privilege?
Yeah, where's my privilege on the internet, man? This is anonymous.
And then Western people find the similarities in shibari or Japanese BDSM, and then they put it all together because like the real bloom of the shibari scene actually happened like in the early 2000s when people like find the art, the excitement of the Japanese rope art. And then brought it to Europe and the States, and then
Do you think? I mean, just to follow up on that, do you think also at the same time in Hong Kong that the shibari came over here, because there was that massive fascination with all things like Japanese culture back then in the mid 2000s, early 2000s?
It's a bit earlier because we are like closer to Japan, and then those Japanese porn videos.
Yeah, of course, like the old magazines.
The Japanese are born with blurry vaginas. Is that?
Yeah, but then like even though like the bloom of Japanese adult videos, those porn videos came actually after the 2000s when internet.
So just to confirm, because I think we haven't explained it enough, like shibari, you say, is the subject of Dom, but like what is shibari in an everyday practice? Like if someone were to get into shibari, what would they be getting into? You say it's rope work, but what does that involve and your role in it as well?
Well, it sounds kind of pretentious, but like shibari means to connect in Japanese. So it's not only like using rope to tie someone up, but like also building a connection between the parties. It's kind of like a kind of like religious and ideology thing.
So to go more into depth in your role as well, so like traditionally, from my understanding of BDSM, you have a dom and a sub, and also you can switch in between.
Yes.
What are you in that? Are you the rope tire or the rope tie?
I'm actually like myself is rich, but like most of the time I do tie people because I'm really into the craft and I can do it.
It'd be good on a sailing yacht, you know, that's not.
The worst thing is the first thing that came to mind was the Scouts, and I'm like, I don't think you get a badge for that.
I don't think we're allowed to talk about Boy Scouts and BDSM in the same.
There are actually
cut
some
out.
similarities. There are some similarities because like I do it not only for like sensual or like erotic purpose. I can just like really into the technique and how it looks like, and I want to achieve a tie, and then I just ask for someone.
I mean, I know you might have props with you as well, but like, can you give us an example of, let's say, one of the most basic, like, I don't want to say I don't know what you call them, knot formations or like styles you would.
Oh yeah. Well, I can send you guys pictures. You can do it in.
Yes, okay, yeah. Insert picture here.
Well, yeah, but like, so what we do is actually we will have a little package of thing. So there are all
I have a little
tools
package
inside.
I hate to drop. Don't worry, you don't need to be ashamed. I have a little package too.
So yeah, here are our ropes. It's actually jute ropes, and you can I can just pass along, and you can have a look. Yeah, they're
I feel like I didn't see these.
these are quite clean. There's no like bodily fluid. Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, not
They
yet.
kind of smell good, but I don't want to smell them. I feel like they're like
I did just
perfume.
smell them. Why I mean, it smells of perfume. Do you put like scents on
Yes,
it?
yes.
Ah, okay.
I actually put a scented candle on it in it. So
in it, thank God.
in it.
Yeah.
It's like very like a relaxing like spa smell.
Kind of. Yeah, because my candle got like kind of like shampoo.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
nice.
Because I've done a couple of shibari classes and I find it very relaxing. Like
Yes,
it's kind of like
it's kind
nice
of.
and meditative.
I once ate sushi.
The extent of the Japanese culture on this podcast.
Yeah,
I've gone to Yoshi.
all weeaboos.
Yeah, oh no, not me.
So
Okay.
I've been to Yoshinoya. Does that count?
So these are like, as you see, they are red ropes. So I use it mainly for photography purpose.
So what do you mean by rat ropes? Sorry.
Red,
Oh, sorry.
stupid.
Don't worry. That's me. Your English is better than mine, I promise. So red ropes, they're made for decorative purposes. So let's say you tie someone up and you say for decorative purposes, would they be fully clothed or would they be semi-naked or like, would it be able to post on Instagram, for example?
Oh, that's a good question.
It can be in all formats, like whether it is dressed or undressed. If I post it on Instagram, then I need to like do some cover-ups, of course. But like in the shibari scene, like people do it for like different purposes.
Yeah.
Maybe for photo reasons, for photo sessions, or for performances in bars and clubs like that. But like we can't do it right now because of the quarantine.
Yes.
And also we do it for intimate place or that. Or actually we go to some kind of like kink parties.
Okay.
They are like swinger parties, but like the Hong Kong kink parties doesn't allow sex.
Oh,
With
that's
it.
interesting.
Yes. So we are all practicing our crafts.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's a really
Is
interesting.
it due to COVID or is it like always been a case of like no sex or is it just because they don't want you?
Well, there are some parties that sex is allowed, but like most of the local parties, they don't because there are some occasions that like police raids.
Oh, for sure. I mean, because I guess the legality of it is that in Hong Kong, like prostitution is legal, but they have all
They
these
can't do
rules
it.
about sex.
Yeah, they can only do it in certain ways.
Only one-on-one, and like because they, I mean, not that it is prostitution at all, but like the way the police are in Hong Kong, they wouldn't know how to wrap their tiny little brains around.
Well, actually, there was one story, so it was like more than 10 years ago. So the BDSM scene was actually brought to Hong Kong by expats, of course, right?
Of course, kinky fuckers.
We bought a lot worse.
Yeah, we brought opium. Okay.
Heroin to ropes.
This is a lot more fun, I guess. I mean, it depends how much you like
And
opium.
then they formed a community in Hong Kong and they were doing some kind of like private parties, but like someone's niche.
Was it in Discovery Bay?
I don't know.
I know that's the rumor.
But then the police came, and then there were reporters from
It was
the media.
probably a jealous wife, I bet you. And
I don't know, but, like people got exposed, and a lot of people like lost their jobs. Even the police can't like really execute them.
There's no physical war against Shibari.
But I know family friends who went to jail for engaging in gay sex. So I guess like that as well, if you're not just doing heterosexual partners and stuff back in the day, would be a problem.
To pick up on that point, I mean, have you lived anywhere apart from Hong Kong before? I know you're not.
No, I've been to a few places, but not for like longer than half a year.
So that's right. How would you find the kink scene? Not just Shibari, obviously she's your expertise, but how would you find the kink scene in Hong Kong compared to maybe other scenes?
Oh, of course, from expats. Actually, there were people in Hong Kong. There were running communities, and well, we used to have a forum like. Online forums like back in the day.
I think I've been on that one.
Yeah, and then there was Fat Life, which is a Facebook for kinksters, but like the user interface has never been upgraded, so it is outdated now.
Yeah.
It's like Bebo where you just give each other love, but it's whips instead.
It's kind of like a.
Well, you still give likes, but like
that's what I mean.
It's like a Reddit type platform.
Yeah, Reddit or like
I'm pretending I've never been on it. I love I'm pretending like I've never been on it.
And then there were like once a French guy in Hong Kong that
Really? Never heard of. Oh, sorry, we should explain. We hate the French. I don't know where the camera is, but this is unrelated to BDSM. But if you were tied up and buried at sea, I would feel better. And if you wonder if I'm referring to you, all of the French.
Yeah.
So he always go to Japan like because of work or whatever reason, and he follows a master in this craft, and then he brought it back to Hong Kong, and then he's like, of course, like getting girls or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there are. He actually started the Hong Kong Shibari scene because like someone like a lot of people like went on like tuition, like secret tuition from him, and then he brought a lot of guys from Hong Kong to Japan and then learned from the masters, and then the story continues.
The only thing that's in my head right now is like Karate Kid, but like really bad. It's like he brought it over. I'm like the other comparison. I was like, you're the founder of the chaos.
Like washing the car.
Washing the something off someone.
Oh god.
I kept it PC by saying so. Yeah, wipe on, wipe off.
Well, actually, there are a lot of Hong Kong people. They learn the craft from like online videos and other stuff, but like not as much as that French guy because he was like learning from one of the like top three masters, like the three grandmasters of Shibari in Japan, and then he brought it.
Is there like a written exam or something? Like, how do you know when you're like you know enough that you can call yourself a master?
It's just like karate. Like there are masters, grandmasters.
Do you wear belts?
No. It's quite
just naked with a belt.
It's still quite underground, but like within the scene, there are like a few like really top grandmasters that they were doing
like the KKK. Isn't the
no,
head
that's
of the
not.
KKK
What are you racist? Grandmasters is chess.
It's like Assassin's Creed.
Okay,
it's like Assassin's Creed.
Cassie just is white.
Yeah.
As a man of.
Well, it sounds like the Assassin's Creed.
We'll go back from Cassie's appraisal of white supremacy in the Japanese culture. So how did you because I think it's very interesting how you first get into any sort of fetish, whether you like being pissed on because a dog pissed on you, you're like, yes, I want more of that.
Is that how it happens?
It's a joke I have in my stand-up. As you can see.
Of course, that was from the porn I watched before I was 18.
Oh.
Yeah, of course.
Before you were 18?
Yeah.
No. I wait until I was 18 and I'm still waiting to have sex after marriage. Yeah.
I waited until marriage, if anyone's on.
Okay.
Anyone that knows me sees this, I'm a virgin. Wait, no, that's actually my friend. Pay me, I'm a virgin.
I have sex all the time.
If you know me in person, I'm pussy slaying every day.
And then I was like,
what even got you into to watching that porn? Was it just like suggested and it came up, or like your friends sent it to you?
I just forgot like how I got into that. Like when I searched for porn, and then like there were like different videos showing up, right? And then
Yeah.
so like someone getting tied.
There is a theory about that, I think, called the porn ladder, which is like you go step by step. So you start at like the easiest one, and like imagine like it's the hardest
I
one.
just forgot how.
Yeah, there is
You
a
went
good.
straight in.
I
You
can't believe
skipped loads of
I'm explaining
levels.
this. Yeah,
He's
like
now
you
the
go.
grandmaster of porn.
Yeah, but then
It's-
what you do is you find your healthy level of porn. So like you start at the bottom is like your like missionary stuff, and like I want to go to the top, but the top is not something you should click on, and you go
Snuff
up and
porn.
up and up and up until you find your happy level.
Yeah.
Unless what happens is you accidentally skip a few levels and you click on the wrong video, and then you're stuck at your level forever. Like if you go from missionary to like 2 girls 1 cup, you're like, I want to go on more videos. I'm sticking to missionary. That's done. That's
Yeah.
the porn ladder, and that's how most people discover. I think fetishes is like slowly working their way up. Of like, I think BDSM's quite middle tier now, if you know what I mean. It was definitely maybe 10, 20 years ago it was more of a taboo.
Yeah,
Correct me
I
if
think-
I'm wrong. And now, if a girl doesn't like being choked, she's quite vanilla.
Because of 50 Shades of Grey and
Oh,
all the Netflix series about like sex.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they like throw in BDSM contents,
Oh
right?
yeah, how
Yeah.
to go to sex dungeon or something was.
Well, there's
recently.
365 days, which is just straight up, you just kidnaps a girl. And he's like, this is kinky. I was like, no. And, like,
And I think it's less.
Sorry.
it's on Netflix.
I think it's
wank.
less of a
in a foreign
taboo
language, you
now
understand.
because like Kingsters has been like kind of having kind of self-regulatory work. They've been doing like really hard work on consent and also on the safety of their craft.
And there's like laws as well now, right? For
not
porn.
laws, but
For
like
porn.
There's always
kind
laws.
of-
In the US,
Yeah.
for porn, you can't show certain things, right? Like you can't go too extreme, but
Kind of.
And the internet is a lawless place. They just film in
and
Germany.
because like people keep making it more like healthy or sustainable. I should say sustainable or like respective for all the people who are getting involved.
Yeah.
Then it becomes more mainstream. I think for a lot of stuffs like weed, it's the same story.
yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
BDSM is the weed. Of
Yeah, it's the gateway
I like that.
drug.
No, I actually think it's quite good. It is, yeah.
It's kind of.
10, 20 years ago, it was Reefer and the Reefer
Yeah,
Madness.
because
Yeah.
like it was a taboo, or like people are afraid of it because like people just don't know enough of it.
Yeah.
And then when people find the good things about it, and then kind of like refine the bad things or the dangerous part of it,
Yeah.
then it can be more like promotable, or like be more accepted to more people.
Talking of being more accepted by more people, and I think there's 2 important things. 1, to give yourself a shout out, and 2, to promote it to other people. But if anyone wanted to get into Shibari in Hong Kong, I don't know if you do shows, you say like, you've obviously done King parties. If someone wanted to get into Shibari after hearing this, what would the first step for them be?
Well, the first step I should suggest if they're an expat, they should go onto FatLife, have an account, and then join a group called Kinky Hong Kong or KHK. So that group of people was actually founded by some expats.
Are they welcoming though?
Yes,
or is
they
it
are
like
welcoming.
quite closed off community?
They are welcoming, but like most of the admins, they left Hong Kong because of the craziness, like in these 3 years, and
Yes.
we miss them a lot because the people actually taught me a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like they taught me about like how should we behave, or like to what extent actually we can like explore into.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to pick up on that, which is another good
Sorry,
thing.
just a quick aside. The Fat Life things that so from
Friends
the
of friends.
research that I've done just for this podcast, I know that they do things called munches. So you meet up and it's like not a sexual thing, and you meet other people within the community. So you don't like get thrust right into like proper hardcore
because
stuff.
they need to screen
I just have jokes in my head about munching girls. I'm sorry.
Well, they need to screen the attendance,
Yeah,
like
'cause
to
you can,
see
like-
whether if
Yeah.
anyone's.
So picking up on that point from research as well, like I didn't do as much research. I have 10 years of experience of watching videos, but instead, like you say, like there's obviously rules. Could you give us a couple of examples of rules? Like once you're in the scene and you're in and you're doing shibari maybe with someone new, what would like 2 or 3 rules you would have? Like obviously consenting is very important.
Yes,
but, like,
consent is the most important, and we have safe words. We have universal safe words that are red
Can you
and
tell
yellow.
us your safe word?
Oh, actually, we use universal safe words,
Okay,
which
so
are
everyone has
red
the same.
and yellow. So in the party scene, so everyone knows when someone needs help.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Oh.
So it's red or yellow. Yellow means like something is starting
Almost,
to go
yeah,
wrong,
yeah.
but then you just need to ease off, or like you need to check if anything like goes out of control, and red means to stop, that kind of thing. And also we kind of like protective for identity. We just don't mention our like kink relationship in the outside world if we don't have consent of the other party. So if I meet someone in real world or in work occasions that I've actually met in the kink scene, we just
pretend you don't know each other.
Yeah.
It's like me and my therapist. When I see her on the street, I'm like, she's like,
Or Cassie to me outside this room, for
get
example.
away from me. I don't know
Who
you.
is this man? But you say also kink relationships, and it's something again from research I totally only did yesterday. There are different like dynamics you have. Do you have like so there's like not families, but there's like daddy and like other
Daddy,
relationships. Do
little
you
girl,
have? And I want you to name people, or obviously say if
Like
you're
a
comfortable.
like a good partner.
Yeah. Do you have many like ongoing partnerships or ongoing kink in the shibari scene you would often explore, or do you do it with different people every time?
Well, actually, there are monogamous people and there are like polyamory relationships. So different people look for different kind of relationships. And for shibari artists, like for us, like not artists, maybe practitioners, we have riggers and rope bottoms or rope bunnies, if you want a fancier name. So we're more like, we can be romantic partners, or we can be just like people who are into the craft.
So almost like someone painting someone. It's like a subject
Yes.
and
Yes.
an artist and a subject.
It's just like
would be-
dancing
Like a
partners.
music.
Yeah, dancing partners.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
It's actually kind of like ballroom dancing, but in an erotic way. So
Yeah.
the rope.
Who says
top.
ballroom dancing is not erotic?
Anyone that's ever left England. Strictly again, I'll do this to the camera and I will do random rants. Strictly Come Dancing is not fun. Great British Bake Off, I'll give you. Like, pasties are sexy. However,
Pasties.
pasties are fucking great.
So good.
I would rather come to Greg's than Strictly Come Dancing. That's just a fact of life. Sorry, I don't remember my next question. I just do random rants. So yeah, apart from that, obviously we've got through the Hong Kong scene, you've got the shibari scene. Have you ever been to Japan and like tried to explore that, or is it one of your own?
Well, I have been to Japan, of course, but like I haven't been there for 3 years, and I haven't been there like since I kind of seriously picking up this craft.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it one of your ultimate? Obviously now we won't reveal this, but it looks like Hong Kong was going to drop quarantine eventually, or moving in that
Yes.
direction. And when
So I would go there, like
yeah, so you go there next
That's
day.
the
Is it like
first
thing?
place you'd go.
yeah. So
Not Berlin.
I presume it's like the Met.
well, Berlin is actually a great place for shibari.
Yeah, that's
Actually.
what I was
Oh,
asking.
for
Like, which
sure.
places
I
do
know
you
just in
tour?
general BDSM is like a big place, and they have like a lot of dungeons and stuff. So they're big on shibari as well there.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of people from Germany went to Japan and learned from the people over there.
Okay.
And brought it over and then developed their own style of tying and like how to communicate with rope. And yeah, that's why it's so fascinating, because like the Japanese scene is blooming and of course developing like since like so long, and then there is a new scene in Europe and then also in the States. So all the people have different like styles and techniques developed, and then there are kink cons that we can like gather around, and then
Oh, kink like conventions. Wow.
conventions.
Yeah, I thought you said King Kong. And
Yeah, I was like King Kong. I'm like
oh,
Japan. What? I'm confused.
Okay, so-
Godzilla.
and then people get around together, and then we share our ideas and then learn from each other and
So,
friends.
as you said, obviously, and I think this is fair. Well, I think we'll be back, hopefully back to somewhat of a normal soon in Hong Kong. But you say that more seriously, obviously, it's been very unfortunate for you when you've taken it seriously. Hong Kong as a country has become more isolated.
Actually,
So-
I've taken this seriously because I can't go anywhere.
Yeah. You're like, I knew that would be. I
it's
can't
the same reason I
travel.
did stand-up comedy. I'm like, well, I've got nothing else to do. I'm not going on holiday. So you say, but it's like, as you say, like with like obviously we're an internet forum, and this is where this started. Is how me and Cassie kind of know each other, is like through the forum.
Not through Fat Life. Can I just say to my husband?
Sorry,
he's probably
chaotic Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Very clear. Not Vet Life. That's not how me and Cassie met. It's actually through a husband, or Jenny through chaotic. But like, I mean, One more time, not
Not
FetLife.
for FetLife.
But I am on there under the username BigDong69, which is 3 lies in one. So, but apart from that, so obviously the internet's been quite a useful tool for the videos, the forum, and the connecting. Like, where would you think? Like, where else do you think the internet could take? I completely forgot the name. Shibari.
Yes, you got it right. Finally.
Finally.
Fuck you.
Look at my stars on his face. He's like,
I think it helped a lot actually because for of course informative because we get kind of like really useful educational things on that, and then the community building because like we can get to know people, and also we can express ourselves through our creations, our videos and things like that, and also we can like kind of look at how others doing the stuff because like it used to be so underground because it's kind
yeah, of
like,
course. Like you'd have to like physically go into a dungeon or go to a party before, and whereas now, I mean, because Shibari actually can be completely PG-13. If you have someone fully clothed, you can find a video on YouTube, like in order to like try things. But going back, I know that we talked about this a while ago about relationships in the scene. Have you ever been in a long-term relationship or a serious relationship and also practice kink or no?
well,
No. No, for me.
Okay.
It was even before
Okay.
kink. Have I been in a long-term relationship?
Well,
No.
I do get into like kind of like constructive relationships
Okay.
in Shibari because like we need to trust each other, so that trust can't be built with like no connection in real life.
For sure.
And also I need to know the other person's body structure,
Yeah.
and because I'm a switch,
Yeah.
so my partner also ties me. So yeah, he or she needs to know about me too.
I mean, what sort of...
Sorry,
Oh,
guys. 2 things I want to pick up on there. They might not know. And again, they may have done not as much research as me and
Wait,
Cassie.
can I just do a quick just follow-up question on that?
Yeah.
Okay, you can cut that, whatever. What kind of things do you do to bond outside of Shibari? Do you like go for coffee, go to Ocean Park? Do you like go clubbing? I don't know. How do you bond with someone outside of just the physical act of like tying
Actually,
ropes?
for one of my relationships, we actually did not get through a like romantic relationship with like each other, so we just went out like go for movies that we were both like interested in, or like we go out for coffee because we both love hitting like fancy coffee shops in Hong Kong.
That's so
Thank
wholesome.
God.
I love that.
I also thought it was really different when you said hitting. I'm like, we both like hitting each other.
I mean,
Well,
it's
that's
good. Yeah.
Another scene for another time.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, Cass, to interrupt. But the 2 things I always pick up as well, just to define, in case they don't know, what is a switch? You say you're a switch. What is that?
So I can be both a top and a bottom in a scene. So I can be tying people, or I can be tied.
The other thing I wanted to pick up on as well was you say he or she, or they for those. I think we've talked about this off camera, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning. How do you define your sexuality as well? Because it's quite a broad spectrum now.
I'm a biological male and gender fluid.
Gender fluid.
Gender fluid.
And in terms
Yes.
of what you're attracted to?
Actually pansexual.
Okay.
It just doesn't matter like anymore to me now.
Yeah.
Do you think that was related to Shibari? Does that help you in your like scene in Shibari? The more people you attract, I say the more people, but the wider spectrum you can be attracted
Yes.
to. And do you think Shibari is more accepting in that way as well, maybe than other traditional?
Well, actually, I think the whole kink scene is more inclusive because we actually wanted to be like included, and then because we don't judge people with like kind of how we call that moral preferencing kind of things. So we are more inclusive, and then we have different people getting into the scene because we just want to be ourselves without being judged. So yeah, that's why I think that's what's happening in the kink scene and Shibari scene now.
Speaking of, so you're talking about like the non-judgment. I think, of course, we know Hong Kong as a whole can be quite a judgmental community.
Yes, it is.
And I want to just talk a little bit
Sorry,
about
I'm
that.
confused. I'm a white guy in Hong Kong. People judge you?
Yes, they do. And they're
Is it when
judging
you can't? Do you mean when I can't speak Chinese? They give me a different menu? They judge you? She called me Leng Zai, so I think you're fine. She actually likes me.
I think, Hong Kong as a whole, I mean, there's obviously the culture of saving face and the big emphasis on starting a family and all of that sort of thing. And how does that affect, I mean, I don't know how old you are. Can I ask how old you are?
34.
Okay.
Fuck off. You look like
You look
you look like 10 years younger than me.
Oh,
I just had
worked
Botox
hard on
done.
that. I worked hard on that, so yeah.
I did not. That's why my skin looks like it's been left out in the sun for 3
I
years.
agree. So like, how do you reconcile, like, I mean, I don't know your relationship with your family, we don't need to go into it either, but how do you reconcile your kink persona with your maybe work persona or family? You know, I'm sure your parents pressure you to get married and that sort of thing, or not.
Oh,
Racist.
I mean, I'm married to a Chinese guy, I can't be racist, I'm just kidding.
I don't know whether
She's not married.
I'm Chinese by osmosis, because we have sex.
I love you said change my last and then made it worse by going,
okay.
I had to,
Me and my husband have
I had to
sex.
explain it
just letting you know.
sometimes. Okay.
His name is.
I don't know whether it's lucky or unlucky because my parents got divorced like when I was small.
Okay.
So I got no one looking after me like since I was like 13 or something. Because my father was working and then I was like kind of raised by my grandma, and because my grandma had her own work. So if I'm safe, then there's nothing going to happen. So
Yeah.
I can just go out and play and do whatever I want. So that freedom took me a lot further, and
Of course.
I can explore whatever I want. And when I hit 18, like when they just can't tell me like about anything, then yeah, I can just like get to any social circles, and then without any like I don't need to report to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once I'm safe, I'm not doing anything illegal. Just not cops showing up.
So
at
the
my
bar
door.
is real over here.
Then I can just do everything.
They're like, did you kill someone? No. Have a nice day, Shi Shi.
You were home before 2 a.m. in quarantine restrictions?
Yes.
Yes, good job.
I was.
And actually, because like, yeah, as I said, I'm gender fluid, and I actually got into like cross-dressing. It's another kind of fetish I was in, but like now I just find out that it's just not a fetish, but it's just a kind of like how I present myself to the outside world. So I actually had asked for my parents to pay for my makeup course because I was a makeup artist, because I find it like really funny or like find it interesting.
You know what I'm looking for my wedding? A makeup artist. So we can...
Oh, I
Wait,
can.
sorry, were you saying, let me clarify, were you saying that you asked your parents to pay for you to become a makeup artist or to pay for your makeup artist doing
Actually, my parents like pay for my tuition.
to be a makeup artist? Sorry, I thought it was like they pay for your makeup artist one day. I was like, why? Okay.
And then
Good looking bloke, it's fine.
they're already seeing me like dressing up as a girl at home and whatever stuff like that. So yeah, and that went easy like after that, because like a threshold had been pushed like so far.
I mean that's great to hear, because you know a lot of, I think, even like I'm not an expat. I'm from here. I'm born in Hong Kong. Like even my parents.
She's an expat.
Shut the fuck up. My parents growing up in Hong Kong, because it's such a bubble, they tend to be less liberal. For example, if they'd stayed in the UK or whatever. So I think that's fantastic. But with friends and other co-workers and stuff, do they know about this like secret life you have?
Well, some of my coworkers know, because I used to work in the creative business. I used to work in an advertising agency for digital marketing. So then,
You might know my husband.
Yeah, they
Maybe he
were-
knows you.
more creative.
Not from FetLife. Just want to
Not from
clarify
FetLife,
again.
yes.
He's not on there, just me and.
Shut up.
Yeah, and then there were more people that are more kind of willing to explore or see the funny side of other people, and then I'm more willing to share with them like about my kind of fetishes or like my little dirty business under the table. Yeah.
Well, I've got a weird question I have to ask, and I'm sorry for doing this. Like, is it really busy? Like you have obviously a very busy life. Like, are you very free, or does shibari keep you tied up?
Shut the
Wow. Nice.
That was so bad. No.
Well, it wasn't, but it's starting to be.
I mean, as we said, people are bored.
It keeps you tied up.
Yeah, it starts
Still
to
no?
be.
Still no?
It looks like you're doing the Hitler salute.
And
It's left.
there are
You had to make it weird.
there are a few reasons behind this like situation. First of all, is that I'm getting more like serious into this, and as I'm doing better and better, and there are more invitations for like collaborations, and I'm kind of like hosting my own events, my own like seminars or workshops or like one-on-one sessions. Because like a lot of people ask me stuff like on Instagram or other social media then.
Oh, do you want to plug your
please do.
Instagram? Tell people.
Two things. What is your Instagram?
Oh, it's Nawa Shi Shi. Nawa is actually rope in Japanese, and Shi Shi is actually lion in Japanese, and
So-
my moon sign is Leo.
Okay.
That's why for my alter ego I picked this name.
So,
Okay.
and how do you, because I'm an expat that can't do basic things, how do you spell Noah Shi Shi?
Nawa, and then dash, and then SHI.
We'll put it
Fantastic.
up
And
on the
we'll put it
screen.
in the doobly.
Thank you.
Some sort of screen, so people know where to find
Yeah,
you.
so a lot of people like message me about like how do you like do the stuff, and then
Just out of curiosity, and I will probably hit your inbox later apparently, do you like, so you say you love obviously sharing the craft and you learn, do you charge for classes or is it a pure love of what you do?
well, I do have some like charges, of course, like
Good.
yeah, and
You're good
that's,
at it, man. That's
Yeah.
you should always charge for what you're good at. That wasn't.
yeah, because like I do actually respect my own craft.
Of course you should.
Kind of.
Pay your artists, guys. Even for memes.
I was about to say, I made a great meme last week, and that'll be £1 a like. Sorry, that was then against NSL. $10 a like.
Well, it is because like there are a lot of like people that are more experienced and like accountable that left Hong Kong. Even my sensei, like my teacher, so she's actually a very famous shibari artist in the world actually, and then she left Hong Kong for good. She's in the UK now, and then there are a lot of people want to learn learn the craft and stuff like that, but they just can't find the right channel. Well, there are a few actually, but like I'm just like starting one more, and also because I have some differentiated thinkings of the craft, and I have some insights that I want to share to people, and I have my own kind of like follower base kind of thing, and they want to get my thoughts and insights on this craft. So yeah, that's how I started doing these.
That's a good place to say, do you want to share anything more? Like, is there anything you want to plug?
I had one more question.
Sorry, I'm being a white male again.
I just one more question. Speaking of like the spaces where you hold these events and stuff, is there such thing as like, if you look at other kink scenes, somewhere that's like a full-time dungeon, like that there's like not like, it's not like, oh, we go to this space and we do this sometimes, that there's somewhere, you know, where you can go whenever, and there's like, it's staffed and stuff. I just
Well, there are some kind of like romantic motel kind of like rooms in Hong Kong that are like all kind of like themed with like BDSM
in
themes.
Kowloon Tong. I took my friend on a tour.
Now we know where she did meet her husband.
I do know there are places in Jordan.
Okay.
Yes, and
It does sound like the sort of place that would be.
there are some like kind of like party spaces in Hong Kong that are like run by kinksters, but it's not open to the public.
I actually got an Instagram ad for one. I just remembered the other day. I don't know what I've been
I want to
Googling.
point this out more. Like, so if you don't know our roles, Cassie founded obviously Chaotic Expats are 4 years ago. I started helping Cassie out with the Instagram and the Facebook, because I'm just a mod, a year ago. And I log into the Instagram every day, which is there's 3 of us that are on Instagram. If you follow us on Instagram, there's Kelly, me, and Cassie. They both have lives, so it's mainly me that does the admin now, and they do the in-charge stuff. And every time I click on suggested to look for memes, it's 99% naked women. And it's not me. I have my own account for that. I don't know what you keep searching. I looked on today and it was 45 searches for the word bridesmaids.
No, okay, that's for my actual wedding. That's not some weird kink, okay? Kelly was trying to find reels of like,
and now I'm sending them to myself going, I've got to follow her. Oh, Nikki the creator, who's also a Chaotic member.
Oh my god, please don't shout out random girls on the podcast.
Nikki the creator is quite famous. She has an OnlyFans, that's fine.
I don't know if she has an OnlyFans. Anyway, we'll cut that part out. I don't know if
we'll cut out Nikki the creator, my bad. So sorry.
She's a friend of ours. But yeah.
Great ass. She posted on it. I'll send you a link. We're cutting it out, it's fine. It's been a bloopers, just me saying, great ass, carry on.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. Oh, come on. How am I the one that comes across as a pervert in this?
But yes, I have seen these like party rooms advertised, and sometimes I
take a break so we can cut it easily. Rather than me just saying I'm a pervert and then you go straight into the question, so we have to cut it to Ashley's a pervert. Also party rooms.
But yeah.
Break.
Okay, so I have seen these party rooms advertised, and I always find it like very confusing because it's wild. Like the one I've seen that's being advertised, it's like they've got like the cross and they've got like chains, and then they have a ball pit. What is the ball pit for?
I don't know. Well,
I do not want to go in that ball
Hong
pit.
Kong.
Hey! I want to touch you.
It's Hong Kong, like we just jam everything into one small space.
One space. It's like
it's
like have your kids party and the adults are in the corner exploring their kinks.
On different days.
No. All the time.
Well, that's Hong Kong.
It's true. You need a multi-purpose space. I mean, that's what this is, right?
Well, we'll put this to the end, so at least if someone's watching this, they're about to go through 15 minutes of this, I hope. Okay, now we can. Is there anything else you want to say? Obviously, Shibari, we've shouted out your Instagram. What's your Instagram one more time?
Now Shi Shi.
And if anyone wants to hit you up to explore classes or has any questions, is Instagram the best way of contacting you?
Yes, it is. It will be.
And is there any other recommendations or anyone you would say that maybe doesn't want to like reach out to you just yet, but like wants to look at pictures of Google Images or FetLife? Like, what's the best place to see if they're into this kind of stuff?
Well, I say it will be FetLife and join Kinky Hong Kong, which is a group of kinksters in Hong Kong, and they speak English. So yeah, that's
that was a dig at him, not at me. I can speak Chinese. Okay, guys, you saw the intro.
Joel-san.